Today's topic is burning of the Quran. I have seen this done now several times by people who want to insult or incite through this action. And of course it is insulting, and I can understand why people get upset about it. And recently there was an incident in some European country, I forget which one, but the guy did it and was rushed by other people who wanted to fight him for it. Is this the correct reaction? Should people who consider themselves Muslims be insulted by this action to where they act out like this? And make no mistake about it, attacking people for simply burning a book is definitely not the right thing to do. What is the Quran? The Quran isn't the physical book. The Quran is a recitation. It is a revelation from God. It consists of ideas and commandments and accounts of the past as it was revealed from God. That is the Quran. You can't destroy that by burning a physical book. The only way you can destroy that is if you don't read it or if you don't follow it. That is the true outrage. Somebody burning a book, they're just burning a physical book, and you know they're doing it to insult you or incite you. And you have to resist that urge. If you consider yourself Muslim, many prophets were insulted, including Prophet Muhammad, and their reaction was what? It wasn't violence. They took the insults. The only time, since I'm speaking about Islam, the only time Prophet Muhammad resorted to violence when he was directly attacked himself, when Muslims were directly attacked, and that was only after 20 years of persecution. So, somebody burning the Quran, the correct response is indifference. The correct response is acting like God commanded us to act, with wisdom and patience, not through violence. I understand the outrage, but the real outrage is for those who don't read it and don't follow it, yet they continue to call themselves Muslims. This is how you destroy the word of God, much more than fire. Because if you make this society, and you all claim to be Muslims, but none of you follow or study the word of God, then that book is hidden permanently, and it's useless. It is as if every single Quran in the world was burned. It does not exist anymore. Even if you respect the Quran so much that you wrap it up into a towel and keep it in your house, and you consider it to be holy and all of that, if you do not read it or follow it, it is burnt. It does not exist anymore. If it does not exist in your heart and your actions, it does not exist. It is burnt. You have burnt your copy. And much more than that. You've done much more toward the destruction of the Quran than the guy who burns a physical copy of it. This is the real outrage. You should be outraged at yourself, at your friends, at everybody who claims to be a Muslim but does everything opposite of the Quran. They are destroying it. We are destroying it. The Quran isn't some magical thing where, as I see a lot of people who use it these days, like to magically heal people or prayers for the dead and so on. You know, you're recited in a language you don't understand if you don't speak Arabic, and then you think it's this magical thing. It isn't. Once you read it, you understand what it is. It is, honestly, it is just an invitation for people who think to do what is right, to think about why it's right, and to understand that it is the only right thing to do. That God is real and the life ends. And there's no magic, no superstition. You have to take superstition out of all of this, because there is no superstition in the Quran. People who burn it, all they are doing is seeking to provoke. And if they do their job, and if you're not careful, they will provoke you and make you look like a savage. And rightfully so. If you react like that, like a savage, to a burning of a physical book, then you are a savage. You know what? At the very most, they are hurting their own soul, and they have to buy a physical copy to burn it. So they are literally not causing any damage whatsoever other than to the ego, like somebody insulting you. But if you wrap the Quran up in a towel, put it on your shelf, do not read it, and do not follow it, you are causing permanent damage to your own soul, permanent damage to the people around you, and also permanent damage to people who look to you for advice because you are a Muslim, quote unquote. It is that damage that is much more damaging than people who burn the physical copy. So that's all I wanted to say this time. Let them burn physical copies, but you study yours and follow it, because that is the only way for it not to be destroyed. Unless you do that, you might as well burn your copy too, because it's doing no good to you whatsoever. You are disrespecting it by not reading it, not following it, just as much as if you were burning it, and probably more. So that's all.